Debated the closest they've gotten all series, but this is it. South Korea will win the Overwatch World Cup without dropping a single map. Truly an amazing feat coming in Korea. And as soon as Sherport dives, that is it. South Korea are your 2017 Overwatch World Cup champions. They do it again, Doa.
In the 2 years of Overwatch World Cup that we've seen so far, Korea has dominated the competition. 2016 and 2017 back-to-back champions. It's something that we're all too familiar with when it comes to esports in general. Koreans, they tend to dominate. There's no question about it. Whenever there's a big competition in Overwatch and South Korea is involved, they're always going to be favored. In this video, we're going to be breaking down how I believe Team USA can win the 2018 World Cup and defeat South Korea along the way. This is also going to be a brand new series that I am introducing to the channel where I will go over almost every single World Cup team going to BlizzCon 2018, giving my professional opinion on how I think they can win the World Cup this year. We will start these videos off by covering how the team was built, from the committee, managers, coaches, all the way down to the players. How exactly were they selected, their path through the group stage all the way up to BlizzCon, and then eventually why I believe they can win. And that's right, guys, we're talking about Team USA, how they were built, how they got to the BlizzCon qualifier, and how they are going to take that trophy home and claim USA as the most dominant country in all of Overwatch. Let's start off with Team USA itself and the committee. Starting off with the general manager, we have Scott Barehands Tester, formerly the New York Excelsior's general manager in Season 1 and also former employee of Blizzard Entertainment. He has a vast experience in managing teams and helped build the #1 performing team in all of Season 1 Overwatch League. And moving on to the head coach, we have Aaron Aero Atkins, the current head coach of the Dallas Fuel and aka the head coach that saved the Dallas Fuel Season 1. After 3 stages of underwhelming performances, the Dallas Fuel swapped out their head coaches, Aero came in, and Dallas Fuel in Stage 4 looked like one of the best teams going all the way to the stage playoffs. And also formerly the head coach of Philadelphia Fusion's University roster, who completely dominated Contenders North America under his reign. And lastly, we have the community lead, Annalyn Balin Deng, also the director of social media and community at the Los Angeles Gladiators. With Team USA's management being filled with experience from the Overwatch League, we were for sure going to get a very strong Team USA this year. Under head coach Aero's authority, he invited 25 of America's best Overwatch players, many coming from the Overwatch League and some coming from Overwatch contenders. After a 3-week trialing process, the roster was narrowed from 25 to 8. The DPS players Sinatra, Hydration, and Zachary, main tank Muma, off-tank Space, and the supports Raucus and Moth. These 8 players were set to compete at the Los Angeles World Cup qualifier against other countries Canada, Brazil, Norway, Austria, and Switzerland. Team USA was definitely a favorite in this group and a shoo-in to make the BlizzCon playoffs. But they were not alone. There was another powerhouse that was expected to easily breeze past this group and make BlizzCon, and that was Team Canada, who was also comprised of Overwatch League All-Stars like Agilities from the Los Angeles Valiant, Surefour from the LA Gladiators, and surprise star Note from the Boston Uprising. And this of course would be the biggest match of this entire qualifier, because the winner of this group would claim the first seed going on to BlizzCon, meaning they could avoid some of the best teams from the other groups going up against a second seed in the first round. Almost everybody predicted Team USA and Canada would be coming out of this group stage, and it was warranted because Team USA and Team Canada both dominated Brazil, Norway, Austria, and Switzerland, finishing with a combined map record against these countries of 29-1. Canada going 15-0 in maps and USA going 14-1. That one map loss for USA did come against Team Brazil, and because of this, many thought Canada would have the edge. But Team USA in dominating fashion took out Canada 3-1, claiming that first seed en route to BlizzCon, showing the world that they are a force to be reckoned with. They were now being looked at one of the favorites to win the World Cup, or at least go to the finals against South Korea. At least that's what we were hoping for, because last year's best World Cup matchup was in the semifinals between South Korea and Team USA. And it would be up to the RNG gods to decide whether South Korea and Team USA would be able able to meet in the finals, or if we would have a repeat of 2017 and Team USA and Korea would knock each other out in the semis. And as we all know, the drawing didn't go quite in our favor. Team USA and Team Korea are on a collision course to meet once again in the semifinals of the 2018 World Cup. But before they get to that semifinal match against South Korea, they do have a dark horse standing in front of them, and that is Team United Kingdom, hailing from the Paris World Cup qualifier where they took the second seed and France took the first. So now that we are caught up to speed, let's go over how Team USA can topple United Kingdom, South Korea, and every other team in this tournament. Let's start off with how Team USA defeated Team Canada in their group stage matchup. We're going to be taking a look at the very first map between these two teams on Oasis. The very first round, USA, they came out with a very surprising comp, running their all-star DPS player Sinatra on Reinhardt. They weren't dropping a main tank though, because they also had Muma still on Winston. On their rollout, they're going to be sending Muma over to the high ground while they send the rest of the team to the right side, looking to push in aggressively. The strategy revolves around Muma flanking and looking for a pinch with the rest of his team. While USA walks forward over here on the right side, Muma is going to sit back and wait for the engagement. Then he will come out of nowhere and absolutely disrupt all of Team Canada, forcing their supports to back up and not able to support their front line. Muma is though unfortunately going to be hacked by Surefour on the Sombra, which will slow him down, but Team USA still decides to hold W and play super aggressive with their Reinhardt, and eventually they do win the team fight, forcing Team Canada all the way back to their spawn. Some may call this a cheese strategy, and it is, but it is also a very educated and calculated strategy created by the coaching staff in order to shut down the main tank from Team Canada XQC. And now in the second clip of this round, we're going to see exactly how this pinch strategy works. We're going to see Reinhardt, Sinatra set up here at the choke, and he's going to look for an aggressive play onto the enemy Reinhardt while Muma jumps in from the back. There's the jump, and now he's in full disruption mode, completely cutting off the tanks and the supports. He will go down, but for Team USA, it doesn't matter. They've already done their damage. Up one player, they're going to just back up to the point, buy more time, and wait for Muma to get back, and then repeat their strategy. And that's exactly what they're doing there with the Diva Bomb. We see Sinatra holding the choke, making sure Canada can't walk in. They do, unfortunately, though, get hit by a pretty big Graviton here, but just in time for Muma to get back and cause some more disruption here, as you guys will see. There's the Shatter, Graviton also coming in, but Muma is here, as I said, with Primal Rage, absolutely disrupting Team Canada, not allowing them to follow up on the huge Shatter and Graviton play. And we will see them once again push Team Canada all the way into their spawn, taking the first round of Oasis. And it's because of these innovative and smart strategies that are shutting down Team Canada that I believe will also shut down other teams, specifically Team Korea, who just like Team Canada also struggled with their main tank play. Let's take a look at one specific stat from this Team USA and Team Canada matchup, and that is the deaths of XQC. In most professional Overwatch matches, we will either see the losing team's most deaths on the main tank or one of the supports. I'd say it's really a 50-50 depending on what the enemy team focused on. And as we already know, Team USA did focus on the main tank of Team Canada. And that is why XQC is sitting at 35 deaths. Double one of his DPS players, Surefour, who is only sitting at 18. And still 10 over both of his supports. By far the most in the entire game. Now, the reason why USA shutting down Team Canada's main tank so hard is important is because actually South Korea's main tank, Fate, had a very underwhelming performance during their qualifier in Korea. Now, some could say maybe South Korea wasn't giving it their all because they already knew they were going to qualify with that first seed, but I beg to differ. I believe they showed a lot of weaknesses in their match against Finland. And again, I think a lot of it came down to Fate. Not only was he dying early and first mostly for Team Korea, he was also out of position a ton. It seemed like there was a rift between him and the rest of his team when it came to communication and synergy. And for most of the match against Finland, Fate was getting outplayed by Fraggy. And although yes, Fraggy is an incredible Reinhardt and a pretty decent main tank overall, but against the likes of Fate in South Korea, you wouldn't have expected Fraggy to be able to outperform Fate at that high of a level. I believe if Team USA can apply the same creative strategies and focus on shutting down Carpe and Fate, they can come out on top against South Korea. They won't be able to use the same strategies that they did against against Team Canada though, because we know South Korea is a smart team. They have a great coaching staff and they are not going to be fooled by the same strategies that they've seen USA use already. But just like Korea, as I've mentioned, USA has a strong coaching staff too, and they know that they need to come up with new strategies. So I expect them to do this. And when it comes to shutting down Carpe, fortunate thing for them that we are moving into a meta that doesn't really revolve around Carpe's hard carry heroes. Carpe's an incredible player. He's phenomenal and he's amazing at so many different heroes. But there are specific heroes that he plays that he is unbeatable on. Tracer, McCree, and Widowmaker. And luckily for Team USA, it's really good timing, and right now, none of those heroes are really that dominant in this meta. Now, don't get me wrong, of course, Carpe will be able to flex onto that Sombra, onto the Doomfist, Brigitte, whatever is needed, and he will play it at the highest level possible. But it's not going to be at a level where he's impossible to deal with. And to be honest, going back to that Finland matchup, Carpe was the hard carry of South Korea. Without his huge performance, personally, I believe Finland would have taken that match because almost everybody on South Korea looked pretty average. Jonak wasn't pulling off his crazy plays, Libero was flexing decently but was pretty quiet, so the timing is really falling into the hands of USA. And this leads perfectly into my major last reason on why I think Team USA has a really good chance at winning this year's World Cup, and that is because of their DPS players' flexibility in this meta. As we've already seen, we know Sinatra can play even Reinhardt at a pretty good level, but let's focus a little bit more on the meta and what DPS players have been running lately. I've been following a lot of Academy scrims, open division matches, and the most previous Paris World Cup qualifier. And by far, the three most dominant DPS heroes in this meta are Sombra, Doomfist, and Genji, which lines up almost pitch perfectly for Team USA's DPS players. We were worried 3 months ago when this roster was selected about them not having a Widowmaker player. Well, it's not really relevant anymore, guys, because starting off with Hydration, we have the perfect flex player for this meta. One of the only DPS players in all of Overwatch League Season 1 to actually bust out Doomfist. And by the way, he played pretty good on it, and it's always been one of his specialty heroes. So the fact that we are now in a meta where Doomfist is very prominent, this will play into Team USA's favor. And it's not just the Doomfist for Hydration, he can also play the Sombra at a high level. We saw him specifically in Stage 3 and Stage 4 with LA Gladiators, when they were running a lot of Sombra on Oasis, some 2CP maps. Hydration's play was great. And what was the third hero I mentioned, guys? That's right, Genji, Hydration's other specialty hero. This meta absolutely revolves around his pull, and I think Hydration is going to be a big reason why Team USA can win at BlizzCon. Moving on to their secondary DPS player, we have Sinatra, who has shown he can play a high-level Hammond and Reinhardt. But looking at DPS specifically, he can play that Doomfist. We've seen it against Canada, and watching his stream lately, he is definitely a top-tier Doomfist player. And if a Tracer is needed, well, no need to look any further. Sinatra has got it covered. And then if for some reason they don't want to run Sinatra or Hydration, guess who they have in their back pocket? Zachary. Probably the strongest Western DPS player outside of the Overwatch League. He spent the last 2 seasons of Contenders in North America with Fusion University, absolutely dominating every team. Guess what he was playing? Sombra, Tracer, Genji, and Doomfist. So heading into the 2018 World Cup playoffs, it seems like a lot of things are lining up for Team USA. They have the right DPS players. South Korea, their biggest competition, seems to be in a slump, and specifically their main tank player underperformed in their qualifier, and guess what role Team USA targeted against Canada and absolutely shut down? The main tank role. Of course, there are many other reasons why Team USA can beat South Korea, and there are many reasons why South Korea can beat Team USA. The only thing I am certain about is that we will get an amazing match just like last year, and I cannot wait. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a comment down below, give me some feedback. Consider dropping a like, because if we do get 2,000 likes on this video, I will do the Canadian version of it, and subscribe to my channel for more daily Overwatch League videos like this. And lastly, I will be live on Twitch today at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Come hang out, guys. Ask me anything about the Overwatch League. I really am trying very hard to hit this sub goal, so for any of you that can support it, go check it out. I will also be premiering this video on that stream. We'll be talking about it in the chat. Anything Overwatch League, come hang out. And that's going to be it for me, guys. Peace.